Before we get to installing, now that we've trimmed everything down, we're going to get to testing. My roommate's got me batteries. So, hold on. I'm going to try and set you up here. I hope I put this in the right position so that you guys will be able to see. And we're going to do it like this. So, I'm going to set this up so you guys can see this while I connect these two in front of your eyes, and we will see what happens. Now, I don't know the bind procedure for these, but I'm guessing if I hold them here long enough, they should bind. They probably have a bind procedure, so I will have to look up what that procedure is. But I am seeing flashing lights on both sides. Now, that means they have power. And at this point, I know that this doesn't seem to have a bind plug. It didn't come with one. There were no binding instructions. So, I also am feeling the back of this controller, and it got very warm, guys. Whoa, one of these batteries is downright hot. And I do mean hot. Like, whoa, like can barely touch it kind of hot. And I'm not sure what's up with that, guys. The batteries were not placed in incorrectly. But this particular battery, I wish I had a temperature gun right now, guys. That remote has only been on as long as I have been talking. Oh, another one. Okay, guys, there is something wrong with this remote, and I will tell you why. Because as soon as it came on, not only was it damaged in shipping, but as soon as it came on, it got incredibly hot. Both of those batteries got incredibly hot. And I can only think of one thing that would cause that, and that is the wiring inside of the controller. And so I am going to have to look at these because I did not even look. As you could see, I just threw them in and it did work. But upon inspection, I see these are the standard type where they do have to be alternated, and I did do that. If I had put them in backwards, even one of them, it wouldn't have worked. The only reason it worked was because I put them all in. But what this means is somebody's miswired this internally. There's a connection that's connecting this, and even the tray they were in is hot. I mean, that got really hot, guys. So I'm putting my experiment on hold while I let these batteries, like even now, they are hot to the touch, guys. Very hot. The other two are cool. Like no big deal, like nothing happened to them. But these two are very hot. Now, the batteries are brand new. I do not think that is a problem with them. In fact, I guarantee you that is a problem here inside of this controller. And I do have tools, and I am going to pull this open and take a look because when you look at these, there are connections inside of here. Now, there are wires. Now, let's say I took these two batteries. They have a wire that runs off of here. And if I connected that wire together, I'd be connecting the positives and negatives of both of those together and connecting them together at the same time. And it would get really hot like that and could start a fire. What they just gave me is a fire risk, and I'm going to have to complain because that is dangerous. What they just gave me is dangerous. Not only was it broken, but it's dangerous. I am not really impressed here, guys. I've never had anything from WL Toys before, and this is brand new, guys. I didn't tamper with it, and I'm glad I got the instinct to pull the batteries out. It's one of the things I always do with new electronics. As soon as I have it on for a few minutes, I always check it. And this is one of the reasons why, because little things can happen. But I've never in my lifetime had this happen with a set of batteries that I've gotten from a battery tray, because it means this has to be miswired for that to happen. Normally, the only reason these batteries are both equally hot is because something happened both to equally of them. Only when you look at the system, they are drawn on separately. In addition, a remote doesn't draw much power. They weren't under any heavy draw, which means the only thing that could have overheated them is them being cross-connected, which means that has to be in here. I'm actually glad I'm the one that got this. If other people have this happen, I can't even believe it just happened, really, because it just went from me showing you my cool new setup and showing you a cool design to I have something that's broken from the factory and doesn't work, guys. I am deeply pissed off. Now I'm going to have to ask my roommate to get this one to loan me the other one so I can see if it has the same problem. First, I got to wait for the batteries to cool. Not impressed, guys. What I was about to do is a quick experiment where I power the board. That wasn't a problem. In fact, I made sure it's not. I just left the two little ends cleanly cut, and the battery is the correct one for this, and it's a 350 mAh, and it's on these guys, so that I can just take the wires and touch them right into the two here to those ends, and boom, it lights up. It's easy and won't short out that way, and allows me to just touch it. I also can't cross connect them that way. It's impossible. So that was not the cause of the problem, and it couldn't be, because that could only heat up the battery or the board. Neither one of those things happened. It came on just fine, and it is in the on position, so I'll turn it off. That being said, this is why I test things always. Before I solder something out, before I call it done, I test every component. I wanted to make sure the board worked. More importantly, I wanted to make sure it binded with the remote before I glue it in. This isn't a typical installation because I'm gluing it in. Once you do, if it's got any kind of flaw or you have to send it back, that's the wrong time to find out. After you've clipped the wires is the wrong time to find out. But in my case, I knew I was doing away with the warranty, and it's an engineering channel, which means if it didn't work, I could fix it and it would be shown here. That's not so bad for me, so that's fine. So that one didn't work. The controller is cross-connected, I guarantee you, and these batteries are cooling down, but I have to watch them for expansion now and bloody leakage, because they are not meant to get this hot. I mean, they are hot, guys. And I have enough electrical engineering experience and electrical experience to know that that's why, because they were cross-connected. So, because they were cross-connected, that means either they got the polarities wrong here, which if they had them improperly marked and the springs in the wrong locations and it back-wired, it would still have worked. It wouldn't have mattered. Positive would have become negative, negative would have become positive. It would have been reverse polarityed, and that wouldn't have been a problem. What's a problem is that two of the batteries got so hot I cannot physically hold them on pulling them out. And it only ran for, you saw, less than 2 minutes. So we got a real problem here. But I know what it is. And in the next video, apparently instead of doing what I was going to do, we are going to fix that. If my roommate will let me, I will get that one back from him. Partly because when I think he sees this, he's going to agree with me that I should just order him a better remote. And I'll pay the difference because I told him these ones were okay. Luckily, I do have my income tax coming. I can afford it. Keith out.